Well, I was going to talk about today about artificial intelligence also too in the metaverse, because that's big, you know. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it today at this point because maybe I just hold off on
Just
it.
hold it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what happens. See who come on. Give them some minutes.
Yeah. But I mean, Amari, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's more to it than what we've been made aware of, and I mean, they're kind of trying to tap into it, but in a blind fashion. And you know about Metaverse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a way to create your own world through 3D networking and so forth. And people are paying like thousands of dollars to have this done. Do it. And it's like you're in your fantasy land in this area. You can be anything, look any way, and so forth. But the reality behind it is when you come out of that metaverse, where are you're still in the same circumstance because these people, they're trying to shift out of that their current circumstance where they're depressed, anxious, fearful, you know. And so what can we do? We could actually change our own current circumstance so that we then can exist and feel good where we exist, how we live.
Yeah, like it's very interesting.
Hmm.
I'm still a beginner. I just learned about this yesterday.
Oh no, yeah, you're my guinea pig, so I'm just explaining. I'm just explaining so I can be prepared when I talk.
Oh, there's
Shit.
Margaret. Definitely. Hey, Margaret, Ella Catch Veritas.
Ellen Kitchen Veritas, do you mind me shifting you up? Because it's just us. We're not, I don't think there's going to be anybody else, but we're just like conversing. Do you mind me inviting you? I'm going to invite you up because I know sometimes people don't want to come up, but it's just you, Serenia, and myself. Oh, there goes Tavares. Maybe I will have something then, huh?
Maybe you will.
Elocution Veritas,
Catching
unexpected
Veritas
gratitude.
with
It's like there
unexpected.
wasn't. So there you go. We were gonna like, okay, because there's so much going on. I do have something to prepare. We were just talking about the metaverse and 3D, and Amari's over there with Mia, and he was, just adding to, what he believes as far as three-dimensional, and I mean, and it exists, but it's just what we weren't informed of this. We have to learn and basically tap into this on our own. And we started talking about metaverse, because that's the thing right now. And you can create your own virtual reality per se the way you want it and so forth. The problem is that when you come out of metaverse, you're in the same circumstance that you're in, and they're utilizing that tool in order to escape their depression, anxiety, and fear. But it's not really doing, not, it doesn't change anything for their actual life circumstance.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's
Yeah.
I don't know if you all have heard of how you can purchase real estate in
Yes,
the
yes, I
metaverse.
did. I know. I mean, what are you going to do with a virtual real estate?
I'm trying to tell you, I have no idea that it
Right.
would be much wiser to purchase something that's real and tangible. But there is this drive to, as well as within the realm of NFTs, which
Mm-hmm.
you're probably aware of those too,
Mm-hmm.
where people are spending thousands of dollars
Oh
on
yeah.
these what I call digital trading cards, because that's what it reminds me of,
Mm-hmm.
a trading card that's digital that, again, it does not have any real tangible value. It's non-fungible. It's just,
Right.
this is not real,
I
so
know.
we're being pushed deeper into the fakery or the illusion. It's quite interesting, and there are some people who I see that are going for it, and there's quite a few people who are like, no, you can have that because the forerunners of it was Facebook, and a lot of people do not trust Facebook because of, the issues with privacy and data, and
Yes.
you're giving up so much more to engage in this metaverse that Zuckerberg would essentially be the god of, which
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
problematic.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. It's just, I was just talking, when I was trying to review what I was going to talk about, there, it's all artificial intelligence as well. The robot female companion for the male replacing the woman, and even jobs. Before I retired as a neuroradiologist, I was involved with a project where we were trying to identify tumors, using just MRI characteristics. And then from there, then if that's the case, they identify it, you don't need the neuroradiologist then. I mean, it just dawned on me, one of my colleagues says, "Oh, then they're not going to need us soon." But that's what it's leading towards, you know, but that can is going to be flawed because it's like in a cookie cutter format, in that if there's a deviation or variation, it's not going to be able to pick that up. And that's the non-human side of it. The human side of it is be able to to look at those nuances that could occur, that would occur. But needless to say, I'm out of that. I'm out of that healthcare, healthcare, and more into the energetic realm of health. You know.
Yes. Yeah, this is all interesting, and I'm
Yeah.
just kind of sitting back watching it. I must say I actually own one of the if you I don't know if you're familiar with Oculus, the
Mm.
uh, the
Oh
3D
yeah.
virtual goggles.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I actually own a pair, and it's an interesting thing. Virtual reality is very interesting, and but I quickly was turned off from it. At first it seemed like a good idea, and then I realized, okay, damn, this is Facebook, and then from there, it went to a space where, for one, the EMFs from the device is right over it's on your head, it's over your third eye.
Mm.
So that right there is a red flag. I can only have it on for so long before I'm in pain. So so much for
Uh,
having fun. And then two, a lot of the content on there is it's just really dark. Just a lot of
mhm.
shooting, and it's just you know again, everything about it that I see, it's guiding us into the wrong direction. And it's kind of like what you were saying about how um, this form of escapism, you know,
Mhm.
and how the darkness through Hollywood, they tell us what the future that they want for us, and
Yes, they
through
do.
our agreement and uh, our acquiescence, through convenience and these flashy things that seem kind of cool, we are creating it. And there's this movie called Ready Player One,
Oh
and
yeah.
so you
So
know
you're
about
in a
that.
game, right? You're in like a game. Is that what it is?
And
A
pretty
video
much
game.
most of the world is engaged in this virtual reality game, living lives, all types of all walks of life. But when you look at them in the real world, they're living in the slums. The country is ran by these major corporations, much like what we're experiencing right now. So, it's just we're just in an interesting place where humanity really has to make a decision. And I do see pushback, though. I can't front because it looks like uh, Facebook lost a couple of $1 billion. The stock
Mm.
plummeted, and it looks like a good majority of people aren't biting the bait. So that's a
Good.
plus.
Yeah, that is a plus because it's all anti-life. What is it? They're trying to replace our lives from that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think I'm going to bring it up on our next Clubhouse because I wanted to talk about that, and also discuss cognitive dissonance. That's been kind of like gnawing at my in my head, you know, and Karen spoke on that quite a bit too. And you know, it's basically um, conceding to what is being presented to you. Well, you know, first let me just go ahead and release. You know what? Before we even move forward in here, let's just raise the vibration in this space. Yeah, I'm just starting this. All right, so let's raise a vibration, calling for the highest possible vibration, calling for the truth to come forward in our discussion so that the truth can be seen, heard, and spoken, and that we all be in that frequency of truth, calling for the highest possible vibration. And Lakesh Veritas, calling for the oneness and truth of the information shared by each and every one of us. And Lakesh Veritas, with honor, respect, and gratitude, calling in all that is. All right. So let me go ahead and proceed with what I was going to talk about. Uh, so cognitive dissonance. You know, that again, that term was kind of like gnawing at me. I've heard several people mention it and so forth, and I had a kind of a general understanding, but then I said, you know what, let me bring forth the true meaning. And it says here, mental discomfort that results from holding two conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes. So it's like the signs: feeling uncomfortable before doing something or making a decision, or trying to justify or rationalize a decision that you've made or an action you've taken. And then feeling embarrassed or ashamed about something you've done and trying to hide your actions from other people. Experiencing guilt or regret about something you've done in the past. And then here's a good one: doing things because social pressure or a fear of missing out, even if it wasn't something you wanted to do. You know, does that sound familiar? And then the causes: forced compliance is one of the causes. Or learning new information, such as engaging in behavior that you later learn was harmful. And then the impact of this cognitive dissonance can lead to anxiety, embarrassment, regret, sadness, shame, stress. All emotions that can lead to self-esteem and self-worth issues. So you know, right now we're in that setting today in today's society. You know, we're being forced to do things we don't really want to do. You'll hear, you know, people will say, yeah, I understand, but you know, I'm going to lose my job, or yeah, but if I don't do it, then I can't travel, or yeah, if you know. But anyway, you get the gist.
Yeah, I'm over here wondering where to even start, but you had me at this idea of the social pressure and the fear of missing out. And
Mhm.
I someone put me or made me hip to the the term FOMO, which is,
Yes, FOMO,
yeah,
fear of
fear of
missing.
missing out. It's like,
Mhm.
so I've been using that actually within the last month.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yes. So this is definitely a thing, and I when you said it, I could see this flash of um, how some of this is like psychological warfare, you
Yeah.
know, where um, in part social engineering as well, where the influence of the majority of people, and then, you know, people are like, well, I don't want to be the only one without my thing, aka
Hmm.
lab, or, you know, or whatever it may be, and this that pressure from the outside, it it's echoing a lot of what has been said in some of your previous clubhouses, where people really have been pulled from tapping into truth internally, you know, seeking an outer authority. And it's just, again, showing more and more how it's imperative that we as people, as humanity, uh, are making decisions not based off of solely outside circumstance, but what is it that's in harmony and alignment with us, you know. And that fear of missing out, you know,
Yes.
it's not much you're missing out on. Actually,
No,
you.
it's not. It's all a fallacy. It's a delusion,
Hmm.
you know. But they create that. Actually, if you think about it, in mainstream media, they are creating that thought process that you're going to miss out if you don't take the vaccine, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing more people are not really for it. They're actually seeing more truth than what they are leading us to believe in the media.
You know, as you continue to speak, I just had a thought. This FOMO is so ingrained in our society. I thought about when it comes to sales and marketing, because this is sales and marketing.
Yeah, it is.
The government passed a bill at the beginning of COVID. They spent, I don't know if it was trillions of dollars or billions of dollars on advertising
Hmm.
for COVID, and um, but back to the idea, this buy now, don't miss out on sales, and
Yeah,
that using the fear to control and induce a certain type of action or the desired action.
yeah.
This it's just so important that we see the tactic and understand it for what it is, in every way.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's why we have this platform like in Clubhouse or the different things like the discussions, the talks that Lota gives and the work that you're doing it of the sun with the self healing talks, that makes a difference. And it's just a matter of time that the information gets out. We just have to keep moving forward so that then people will eventually they'll come into alignment with hearing us. Right now, it's coming. It's coming because people are waking up and they're not happy. And what they're doing is because they're not happy, they provided a outlet, which was the metaverse. They figure, okay, they're not happy, we can just give them this, and this will keep them happy for temporarily, for a time
Yes, stay in your homes, in
being.
your digital bubble.
Mm.
Oh, don't worry, you don't have to leave your house for food. You can order it from Uber Eats and DoorDash. We got you. I don't know how many times they've advertised to me. Now I've used Uber Eats before, but they keep offering me, hey, free delivery. Matter of fact, we'll give you $30 off your meal. You only have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Just trying to pull us into this. It's how Lao Tzu speaks about the idea of how we live on a prison planet.
Yes.
And what I'm seeing is that the darkness is attempting to move us deeper into that reality where your home essentially becomes a prison. You know how
Yeah.
they're attempting to herd people more to the inner cities, keep us tight and stuck in our spaces. It's definitely a thing. So that's something that I'm seeing with that.
Yeah, there was movies like that too. What movie was that? The one where Jaden Smith was in. I think he was in that one, and they were living. Well, anyway, there were multiple different movies, where they're in these bubbles and they stay in their own little bubbles, and that's where they live, and then that's it, and you're supposed to be happy and content, you know, way, no fresh air, and then I mean, you're talking about Uber Eats, and they're delivering what? Fake food. Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah,
about. I was remember when McDonald's first came out. You may not have been alive then, yeah, but
I don't think so.
no, yeah, I remember. It was like a treat, a hamburger and fries and all that. That was like, a real treat to find out, it's all like fake food. It wasn't even real. And then now we look at it, look at our society. I mean, look at all the friends that I have, they're all sick, with these chronic illnesses.
Hmm.
After all these years of eating that fake food. And our parents, those that are still alive, are living with these suffering from chronic illnesses. So
Yeah, hearing you say that reminds me of a meme I saw earlier today. Of it was a picture of someone's refrigerator that was stacked with. I mean, again, we can't even call it food, but we'll call it just horrible food.
Mm-hmm. The
and
boxes.
and then there was a caption that said, "I don't know why my doctor says they don't know what's wrong with me, you know." But then they show the shot of the refrigerator, how it's stacked with just processed food, and
Hmm.
and it's just the reality. And
Hmm. Yeah, people are waking up though. People are waking up. The only thing is that there's some people who are willing to take responsibility and do the work, and then there are others that are just lazy and just want to give up and just continue to eat the junk. You know. But I mean, the thing is that they make it seem like it's so hard to eat properly, to eat with reverence, giving natural foods the reverence, and it's not. It's just a matter of educating the people so that they know it's not hard. It's not hard. And then they, making it available. At least Whole Foods is more readily available in some of the inner cities areas that they weren't before. At least they did that in some of those communities where it normally would not have been. Because I know when I was in Chicago, it was in like the South Side, like the deep South Side. They had Whole Foods that opened up, so that it gives people a better chance to have better food selection.
hmm again, I'm thinking about the word or the phrase cognitive dissonance that you mentioned, and
Hmm.
I know people who have clarity that what they are eating or ingesting is not good, is not appropriate. Um, I think I made a joke. I don't remember what platform it was, but I was talking about my one of I think my sister and her boyfriend, and
Hmm.
how they're trying to grow fruit or little herbs for their tea, and this idea of wanting to be more sovereign with their food. But he's saying it while he's drinking a McFlurry or eating that's like the perfect example of cognitive dissonance. The
Yes.
inconsistent thoughts, the behavior is not matching. It's a sense of incongruency.
Yeah.
And I think it's many people out there like that. I made a joke with Lauta about how because there are people who take herbs and supplements, but they will go out and party and drink Hennessy and get drunk, and then the next day think that the herbs and supplements will clean them out. And I made this joke with her saying, "Hey, that green drink's not gonna remove that balance out that Hennessy you had last night.
Hmm.
You gotta be
Hmm.
consistent." And
Right.
so I'm not saying don't drink, but it's balance in everything. But again, it's clear that there needs to be a greater sense of congruency. And
Yeah. Sometimes they don't. They could have, instead of drinking Hennessy, maybe they would have had a glass of red wine or something like that. That would be more congruent if they wanted to have some alcohol, but they don't know that red wine is better for them than that Hennessy.
yeah,
I mean, that's why I'm saying the education needs to be there for people, you know. So, but you have to admit, taking a step of growing those few herbs is a good thing.
it is. It most certainly is. And even though I shared what I said, I do have a sense of hope. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's actually coming back to me where I shared the story. It was in one of the divination classes, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
the,
remember it. I remember.
yeah, one of the cards that came up was, um, I think it was doubt. It had something to do with doubting the future. What you doubt, you draw near. What you fear, you draw near, or something like that. And I or no, or doubt holds back what you want to have, something along those lines. But that's essentially what I had to check myself on, because some action is better than no action. you
Right.
know
Right.
and that that has to be considered, especially at the level that they're at.
Yeah.
And a good part of it is education. I also understand that another part of it is will, or having the energy available.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I see in the soul clearing. So, for example, a person's will to change. So we calibrate in the advanced soul clearing one. What is the soul's willingness to change? And oftentimes the clients are surprised when their numbers are low, and they're like, uh, I mean, things make sense, but I don't know. I thought my will to change was much higher. And I say, well, the desire to change versus having the actual energy to remove or detach yourself from the habit, to break the habit, to break the cycle, sometimes people don't have that available to them, to actually create a new habit. They may be sucked into the self-sabotage. And, this is again why energy clearing is so important. Things like addiction that comes with the food.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you were saying something earlier about how, like, it's easy. I mean, and I'm like, it is, but it isn't. I feel like, it's kind of relative. Like, from one perspective, or my perspective, I feel like, yeah, it's easy. But thinking about a person who's just always eating chemicals, or they're they lean on conveniency, things like
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
darkness uses to pull us more into its agenda.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that
That's what.
will to change. The person needs the energy, and that it might not be available. And this is again another reason why I think doing some type of energy clearing work at the soul level could help with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I see, like when I we talked about, McDonald's being one of the it's basically one of the first fast food um establishments, that we have, and it was very convenient and easy, and so then it trained society to have food that was easy and quick and convenient, train it more and more so that then you kind of fall into that trick,
Hmm.
into taking the easy route when you're especially when they then also you're kept busy. You're so busy, 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 you don't have time. So how are you going to eat? You're going to go ahead and eat, some McDonald's. I had a friend I was talking to, and she said, "Oh, I need to gain some weight." So but I went ahead and stopped and got a Big Mac. And I was like, okay, and I had to get off, and I went back and I said, well, why'd you get a Big Mac? You need. I know there's other ways what you could do to gain some weight. You don't need to do that. you know, that's just gonna mess you up even more. So needless to say, I have to go back and talk to her.
Hey, some people want the Big Mac. Some people are just content until they're not. I feel that each
But they know
soul is
better.
different.
It's like they
Uh,
know better.
Of course they do. Of course they do. And I can look back at some of the um, the unhealthy habits, whether they were mental or physical or emotional, and I knew that the thing wasn't good for me, but there was comfort in it.
Yeah.
There was familiarity. There
Yep.
was
Yep.
all the things that we're saying, and it.
Yep.
But for me and my experience, and what I think with most people, and I actually can see this collectively too with humanity, we uh, each person has to reach their threshold of pain, when they're ready to make that change, and they're just
Yeah.
sick and tired of being sick and tired, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like humanity's going through that. We keep getting pressed and pressed and pressed, and is it tight enough or for us to make a change? And sometimes it's that change. And as you being a doctor in the medical field, I'm sure you've seen people who decided to change once cancer struck or something life-threatening occurred, and
Yeah.
sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens a lot. They change when now I will say I'll tell you a story too, is that I have a friend whose son was diagnosed as a diabetic, and I was trying to shift her to start trying to do, told her and got, gave him a kind of a gift package of gluten-free products. And she's like, oh, okay, thank you, thank you. And so she proceeds to like, you know, like was trying to encourage him to eat that, but then she went ahead and stopped at McDonald's to get herself something. Yeah, I was like, okay, and I kind of told her, you have to kind of change altogether, and they weren't really willing to shift. So needless to say, his diabetes got worse, and he had to they his numbers weren't good, and they when he went back to the doctor, they had to adjust his medication because they're saying it wasn't working. And but I'm like, okay, you got to change too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And La Question Veritas on Spectrum Gratitude.
oh yes, and look at your Veritas on
I
respecting
wanted
that.
to speak to a couple things. I know you were talking about the cognitive dissonance
Yes.
at the very beginning, and I was listening to some a group that is wondering why people they speak to it, but they're like, well, what is it going to take? What is it going to take? And I was thinking about like what we do and the work that we do. I mean, it's not, we can't just tell people. It's not just, they can't hear it. It's
No.
past that point. They can't hear it. It's very deep because it's not just the hypnotism from what they've seen, but many of them have had the vaccine, and so it's a combination of behavioral things and physiological things where there's some control there. And so I think the work that we do, truth is always stronger. Truth is light, and you know, the light is always gonna be stronger than the dark, as Otis says, right? When the light comes on, the dark goes away. And so, as we continue to call for truth and share truth, and shine the information, they will be able to see and to come from it, and they'll seek it. We just have to stay steady in what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
continue to share the information, because talking about it makes no difference. It's kind of like, I just think about all of the children and mothers that I worked with the years with the food, and how they've been in trance, through the years, to believe that this is actually food. I mean, I had so many students that would come to me and they were just ill. I knew what they ate, the night before. And I would say, what did you have yesterday? What did you have today? I knew exactly what it was. And it's like they don't know any better. They think that that is the truth. So it's a combination of not having access. It's a combination of the government puts in front of them that stuff in the schools. The lunches are horrible. um it's everything, and we have to stand in truth so that they will be able to see, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the only way that's going to work.
Yeah.
Talking
Yeah.
to them is not working.
Right. Yeah. Truth will be victorious. Yes, I agree. I agree. Well, turned out to be an enlightening discussion. You know. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I will have to add, though, before we, leave from this particular platform, I just want to remind everyone that we've got uh, events coming up this weekend. Exciting event, the book launch for the Call for the Truth book launch. That's going to be held in Smyrna on um, Sunday, March 20th from 12 to 4 p.m. Lota's going to be there signing books or autographing books. And there's going to be a lot of activities that will be going on there. Many people from out of town will be in attendance as well. There's going to be food and gifts, oxygen bar. It's real exciting, real exciting. So I recommend, if you're interested in coming, to RSVP. And also, too, is going to be a live stream. You'll be able to live stream for those that are out of town. So Tavares, how will they be able to connect through live stream?
All right. So for those who are subscribed to the Of the Sun newsletter, we'll be sending out a link and additional information on this. So I'd say just stay tuned. This will most likely be tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, Thursday or Friday. We'll have the link sent, and we're looking to do it in two different ways. One, through Zoom, where there's an actual Zoom link, and then we're also looking to do it via social media.
Hmm.
More than likely Instagram. We will see if we can have it simultaneously streaming via Facebook Live as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you you're limited to Instagram though? Like as far as time? You're not. Oh, you're not. Oh, Niara's
Uh, I don't think so, but
oh,
if we are, we could end it and pop it right back up.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. So there's so many tools that we can utilize, but it's going to be a fun event, and then you'll get to learn of the various tools, energetic tools that we can use to help us shift into a healing, true way of living. We're so used to being chronically ill and not feeling at our optimum. It's now time to change. And as I say, take responsibility, take action, be responsible. All right. So, everyone, thank you for joining this Clubhouse events with honor, respect, and gratitude, and Lakesh and Veritas.
Elankesh
And
and
like extra
Veritas, with
time,
honor,
honor,
respect,
respect,
and
and
gratitude.
gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was trying to tell you.